All right, bro. Welcome back to the Real Talk podcast. It's been a long break. I'm glad to have William Puckett, one of my buddies from work, on the podcast. And why don't you introduce yourself?
All right. My name's William, Air Force brat, so kind of from around a little bit of everywhere.
Yeah, just start with like your testimony, your story. Like,
Oh, we're going deep. We're going right in. All right.
if you feel comfortable to, let's.
That's fine, man. I'm down for anything.
That's what I was trying to do with this episode. Was just kind of talk about your testimony and then just see where it goes.
All right.
So,
I became a Christian in 2023. I grew up in church always. Maybe not from the day I was born, but I remember going to this crazy Catholic church when I lived in Germany.
you lived in Germany when you were born?
No, not when I was born. I moved there when I was like 1 or 2.
Oh, okay, so very early on.
My dad was military, so
Where were you at when you were born?
in Montana.
In Montana? That's pretty cool.
I lived everywhere. But anyway, I've been familiar with church forever. I mean, probably since I was at least 6 or 7. I would say I've probably been going consistently. So I grew up in church, not like a super Christian household. Like it wasn't, my parents were divorced, so it wasn't really like, mom and dad taking me to church every Sunday. It was more like my mom would take me.
And your dad would? Or...
My dad would take me sometimes, or my stepmom. So, I was exposed to church.
Were they divorced at a young age, or?
Yeah, I was 7 probably.
Really?
Yeah, so, I've been familiar with church. I remember my mom would always play, like, Bible stories in the car whenever we go on rides and stuff. So,
oh, really?
It was pretty...
So would you say, like, it was more like a routine that you just, like, kind of go on Sunday but not think about it? Or, like...
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Did your parents see it as that, or do you think they were trying to do something more with it, or...?
It's hard to tell. Like, my mom was... she's kind of been to church on and off in some ways. Like, my real mom, if I say this, like, my biological mom. I honestly can't say. I just don't know. I don't know her intentions. I think she's really trying to do the best thing she can do and raise us up in church and get us on the right path.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty typical thing to do. I think it's kind of going out of style or whatever you could say. But
well, it is. It's a little off topic, but I was watching the beginning of this video and it was talking about like the revival of Gen Z and like how
it's been like, maybe it's just because, like you get down the rabbit hole of just watching certain YouTube videos or being on that side of TikTok or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like I've seen a lot of like stuff happening, especially with like big people. Unless it's like rubbing like crazy, you'll probably be fine. All right. But I feel like there's been a big revival too. I don't know if that's just because I'm in that rabbit hole or funnel of the algorithm, or
it
what.
Could be. But if you watch, not to make it political right off the bat, but like even the young people have like voted differently. Like 2020, young people voted Biden, all Biden. 2024, they like crazy switched to Trump, and obviously Trump isn't like religious. He claims to be, but what I'm saying is like I think the values have switched. The young people's values have switched, and like I think I know for a fact church attendance is up in Gen Z. Like all these things, people just were. I think it's a revival. There's no other way to put it, honestly.
That's true.
And I'm part of it, to be honest. Like
me too.
So, but anyway, going back into my story, my testimony.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I grew up in church, but honestly, I just indulged in sin from like 8, like maybe not 8, but like 9 or 10. Like I was exposed to like porn really young, like probably like 9, like 4th grade.
By who?
Some friend with a Nintendo DS, I think.
He had stuff on his DS.
Well, he found a way to get on the internet on there.
Oh my gosh, and that's actually sad. That's bad. DS porn,
dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's sad. But so, and of course, it turned into an addiction for me, and so obviously at first it was I just like, oh, this is cool, whatever, and then obviously like as I like hit puberty and stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. And so that was a big struggle. That was, I mean, that's always a hidden sin. I wouldn't say that was like the worst of the worst, but that,
I feel like it's common.
just that mindset. Like I was in sin. I wasn't saved. Like, when I was 8, I like said a prayer and was like at like a VBS thing,
Oh, like an altar call type
Yeah,
thing?
like, but I mean, I didn't know what I was doing really. Like, I mean,
You just went up because you thought it was the right thing to do.
yeah, I went up because I thought it was the right thing to do, and like I think definitely God was with me. Looking back, like I can see God was with me the whole time. Like, I don't know if I was saved, if I wasn't saved. I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But all I can say is like God definitely guided my steps through my sin, like through the worst of the worst. His plan's always been bigger. So, but I was, my high school years, I didn't really do. I wouldn't say I was bad really up until senior year. But again, it was like go to church. I don't really care about it. Like, okay, this is cool. And I would say probably sophomore, no, junior and senior year is when I started kind of really rebelling against God. Like I knew He was real, I knew He existed, but I would be like, I would see something and be like, well, this is stupid. I just don't care. Like I don't believe it.
What do you mean? See what?
Well, like I'd be at church and they'd be preaching about something and I'd be like, well, I don't agree with this. Like I just don't agree. So God's wrong.
Or you just think it's stupid?
Yeah.
You want to do your way, so just
Yeah. And I mean, I was asking questions, like, okay, how does science align with this and whatever. But at the same time, it was funny because then I'd like go to school and be like, well, to my science teacher and be like, evolution isn't real. It's so stupid. I can't believe you'd even think this is real.
So you're kind of like on both sides.
I was like double-minded.
You're just kind of confused.
Yeah. So that was high school. Senior year, I smoked weed once and I was instantly addicted. Like
just from some friend or
yeah, I don't even remember the first time. I was hanging out with someone and I don't know, it just happened. And that kind of started one of my spirals. I've had plenty of spirals, but like that was one of the first ones. Like, when you're a senior and you're about to be an adult, like you already are having a crisis. You're already like having a like, what am I going to do? Like,
yeah, I can testify to that. True.
Like, what is life? Like, what am I supposed to do with my life? And I just decided like I don't want to care about what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get high and just put it off. And I did that. I would say I tiptoed in some other things, other drugs, alcohol. Nothing nothing too crazy. Like I wasn't
like hanging out with your friends and just doing that kind of stuff. Was it ever like by yourself or like it turned into by yourself too?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Like I mean, it was senior year. It was literally like before school, lunch, after school. I mean, it was just like I didn't want to live sober. Like I just didn't want to. I mean, it was more fun. At first, it was just because it was fun, honestly. And then it turned into a coping thing. And then it turned into...
became like dependent on it.
Yeah, I mean, because you're not...
feeling.
Yeah, because it's not like an addiction, like a physical. You're not going to... you're not going to have withdrawal symptoms or anything. But there's definitely a mental addiction side to it. Like,
yeah,
people... I mean, a lot of people struggle with that. And I think... as it becomes more and more widely available and accepted, like people are always searching for something to like get them out of their mind. Like they don't want to be sober. Like people want an escape. Like,
people don't want to think. Like, I see this at work all the time. People like constantly want music on. Like I'm okay with not having music. Like people constantly want to have noise. They constantly because they're like, and they literally say it out loud. Like I don't want to hear my thoughts. I'm like, yeah, probably an issue. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't care either. I mean, there's certain times when I'm like, yeah, like this would be nice, but I absolutely don't care either about music. It's like not that big of a deal to me.
Exactly, because half the time I just start thinking, not even paying attention to being there.
Just focus. But anyway, so senior year was pretty tough. Then I graduated. Or senior year wasn't that tough. It was like I graduated, and then I was still dealing with that. I was probably more heavily smoking. And at
Were
that
you just at home? Just
it was at home, but at that point, I would say I forgot this part. During senior year, towards the end is when I started doing more crazy stuff. Like I never did like needles or anything crazy like that, or like meth or anything, but like psychedelic stuff, like
shrooms?
yeah, that all those stupid things. Anything, because obviously eventually like weed got kind of boring. It just became more of like, oh, I already do this every day, so like I
That's
want
why
something.
they call it the gateway.
Yeah, yeah, true. I want something else, so I just try other stuff. And senior year, I graduated, and I just was really, really depressed. Like I had went to my mom's in Virginia because I had lived in Idaho at that time, so I went to see her because it was
Wait, so did you graduate in Idaho?
Yeah, graduated in Idaho. I went to go see my mom, and it was like my last summer with her, kind of thing, And same thing. I mean, I was pretty alone. Like I felt pretty lonely, and I was just smoking weed, and I guess in Virginia I would do other stuff too, but yeah, I mean, it was pretty much just it's all I wanted to do. And then I remember,
Did your parents know about it?
yeah, they did. I mean, I don't think they knew the extent, but like they definitely knew. I got caught a couple times, so they didn't. I don't think they knew the extent of it for
What
sure.
was their reaction? Like, did they try to stop?
They were mad. Yeah, they were definitely mad. My dad was literally in the Air Force security forces, and we lived on base. So it was not good that I would be bringing it home. Like it was bad. Like
yeah,
he was definitely he was pretty mad about that. And I mean, they were just worried. Like my mom or my stepmom, that's who I lived with. My stepmom and my dad in Idaho.
mm-hmm.
They wanted me, have good grades and graduate, go to college, and I didn't do that. I mean, I had okay grades. Grades were fine, but like I didn't go to college. I was like, I don't want to go to college. Like it's just not what I see in my future.
You didn't really have any plan, did you?
No, I had nothing, and I mean that made me that was dark for me because I was like, people are like, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, literally have no clue, like not a clue. Like I mean, I didn't even have a job at that time. I don't think. No, I didn't, because I had quit my job at McDonald's.
Oh, you worked at McDonald's, really, for a little bit?
For a while, yeah. Worked at McDonald's for a while. Anyway, I went out there. I remember I spent a ridiculous amount of money on weed. Like it was like $200 or $300. Like I got a bunch of money for graduation, and I spent it all. Not all of it, but I spent a lot of it.
Dude, that's bad.
It's. I mean, I'm telling you, it was bad. Like it was. That was my thing. Like I didn't need it to function, but like that's all I wanted to do. Like I just didn't care about anything else.
Yeah.
So that happened. Then I got to a point where I kind of had like a little wake up call. Like I watched God's Not Dead or something like that.
Oh, really? I remember those movies coming up.
No, it wasn't that. It was some other movie where this guy, his daughter gets kidnapped on a camping trip, and he like goes back to the mountain, and he gets in a car accident, and like the whole rest of the movie, it's basically like he gets to go to the mountain, but he meets like God and like Jesus and like the Holy Spirit. And it's like this crazy, amazing movie. And I remember being like so convicted and being like, man, like I really want to do this. Like I want to let God like guide my life, and like, I'm ready for this. And so I kind of got better, quote unquote better. Like I wasn't as depressed. It was like kind of like a fake sense of security almost. So I got a job I had went home back to Idaho. I got a job in doing a music festival, like building the stage, building the fence. Like I was on the production crew. So like
that's pretty cool.
It was fun. I mean, it was hard work. Like it was manual labor, like driving posts into the ground to build a fence, and like it was fun. But
was it for like a big music festival?
It was for pretty good. It was it was a country music festival.
Who was there?
Oh man, I don't know the names. You know the guy that sings "Drunk on a Plane"?
Oh, Dirk Bentley.
Yeah, that guy was there. He was there. Eric Church.
Yeah, I know that dude. I don't really care for him too much.
I mean, there's pretty good names there, but I did that, and
Pretty cool.
I went into it like with a good mindset. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do good. You know, like I'm gonna stay away from any bad stuff because like I knew drinking and stuff was gonna be there. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stay away from it. I'm just gonna work. And then the first day that didn't happen. I met some redneck guy, like, he's like, want a hit of this? And I was like, yep. And then it was like, I'm telling you, it was like something like flipped. Like, I almost felt like God, like, kind of just like, well, I'm giving you up. Like, you know, in Romans it says like, he gives you up to your desires, basically.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it felt. Like, it was like, hey, I'm here for you, but like, you chose this again. So you get to see how it really plays out, like,
yeah,
which is good. I mean, eventually it all led back to him, but it got bad. Like
took the long way home.
Yeah, I mean, that whole festival was a disaster. That's where I met my ex-wife, but I was just smoking weed, drinking, partying. I mean, literally, like, and even during work, like, this redneck guy, I think his name was Ray.
Wait, so he worked with you or what?
He worked at the festival, yeah. And he just was give me weed. And then of course like all the alcohol there was just like it was basically like a free for all. Like literally like most of the people were not 17. Like most of the people were adults. So
yeah.
But anyway, I ended up doing some crazy bad stuff. Like I literally like got into a car accident drunk. Like I was blackout drunk and like I ran through a fence and messed up my car. I drove away from it.
Really?
Yeah. So my parents see this, they're gonna know what really happened.
Dang, wait, so what do they know? They never knew.
I just made some stupid lie, and they knew something else happened, but I just made some stupid lie about it.
Deer ran out in front of me.
Yeah, something dumb like that. Like I think I told them like my car got broken into because the window got smashed and the mirror came off and the bumper came off. And I was like, well, I was at Walmart and my car got broken into, and then I was just driving and the bumper flew off.
You should have said that it got broken into at a festival. That would have been more like real sounding.
But anyway,
not telling you how to lie, but
but anyway, I met my ex there, and it was weird because like we were not like each other. I mean, she was like, and she still is. She's like super liberal, like hippie, not like hippie, but like super left, like. And I, at the time, like, I wouldn't say I've always been, like, a conservative, but I grew up in a conservative household. So, like,
yeah,
I definitely ended up changing how I look at things for her eventually.
Yeah.
Like, we were opposites, and it was just weird. And hit it off, and, of course, it was all lust. Like, looking back, like, it was completely just lust. And,
is that, like, the first relationship you ever had, really? Or?
It's, like, definitely the first, like, serious one I ever had. But, oh man, this is so bad. This just gets worse as I keep talking about it. She was engaged, and
really,
yeah. So.
And then she ended it, or what?
Yeah, she ended it, and we got together, and we.
That's definitely not a red flag.
No. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Her fiance was not the best guy. He was kind of a douche. So. I don't think I was the only reason, but that definitely pushed her to do it. Yeah. So, but I mean, she was cheating on him, and it was bad. I mean, just
with other people than you.
No, just I mean, to my knowledge, it was just me.
Yeah.
But, so of course, I thought it was like the best thing ever. Like, again, like I had lived everything. Like now I'm having sex, and now still doing drugs, and still, it was like, oh, this is great. This is definitely going to lead to fulfillment,
Oh yeah.
And so anyway, we surprisingly, I managed to like move out of the house. I just left the day after I turned 18. I just left, and I think she drove me. I moved in with some friends in a place a couple hundred miles away from my parents' house, and
still in Idaho.
It was in Idaho, yeah. And then I bought a car. Worked at a factory for like 2 weeks. And I hated it. So then I ended up moving
away from the music festival thing?
Yeah, so the music festival, it was only like 3 weeks. I worked the whole thing. I went back home.
Oh, so it's kind of like a traveling job.
Like pop up I wasn't like on it was more like an independent contracting job. Like they needed people to work, and I just applied and got hired. So that ended. I went home, and that's when like everything was kind of happening with my ex. Like that's when the whole like relationship was kind of building, and my parents were still on me, of course, and they were moving to Texas. So like this whole summer, like my stepmom's working overnights at Walmart to make money. Like my dad's still in the military working, so like it was kind of just chaos. And I mean, just so much stupid stuff happened. Like, you know, I was still doing drugs, and I think at one point I was kind of like, I think I had been like, oh, I'm gonna go back a little bit on drugs and drinking because you know I want to be like I want to be with her, and I want to show her I can actually be with her. I forgot this part. I literally ended up like in the not the mental hospital. I ended up in the hospital because I had alcohol poisoning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one night I went, and it was like a football game because you know I just graduated, so it was still cool to go to football games. And I snuck in,
Like back at your high school?
yeah, I snuck in a bunch of alcohol and just drank. And I got sad because of course I was still dealing with like
Figuring stuff out.
and I think I stole my dad's gun and was like, I'm gonna shoot myself. And like, I wasn't really gonna, but I just wanted their attention because they were like making me mad.
Your parents?
Yeah. And so then they ended up calling the security forces, and they came in and like handcuffed me and drove me to the hospital. This
like
kind of
at your high school? Like
no. I had got home. I think my mom drove me
so
home.
at the base they had to get
At the base, yeah. So anyway, that was pretty bad, and like it just goes to show like substances were like the thing for me. Like it was just my thing. Like I never really ended up truly putting it down. Like there had been times, and I'll tell the rest of the story, but like there was times where I like completely cut it off, and I was like, I'm fine. Like I'm not going to do anything. But I was like, it was like that was kind of my God. Kind of like, you know, everybody has a hole in their heart that needs to be filled with Jesus, but like I was filling it with drugs and alcohol and just doing stupid stuff. So
yeah.
So anyway, I ended up moving. I had moved to this place called Pocatello in Idaho, and then I hated it, so I moved back to Mountain Home, which is like, but my parents had already left. They'd already moved to Texas.
But that was where you were before?
Yeah. But I used to live on the Air Force Base, but I was living in the town now.
Okay.
I moved in with some friends, not really my friends anymore, but they were like, yeah, you guys can stay. So me and my ex, like we stayed there, and it was literally a studio apartment house, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Like, and there's 4 of us living there. And so I got a job at Pizza Hut.
In a studio apartment?
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah. I got a job at Pizza Hut making $10 an hour. Like, it was, and I was a manager too.
Manager making 10?
Yeah. Oh. Dude, Idaho economy sucked. Like, the minimum wage is still $7.25 there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I did that, and I guess this part's not, I mean, I think I was in one of those phases where I was like, I'm going to not do anything. I'm not going to smoke, at least. Like, if I want to drink, maybe I'll do it, but like with my ex, you know, I'm not going to like go off and like get drunk by myself. So I did that. That didn't really work out, the job. I went back to McDonald's. I think we ended up getting an apartment finally, living in Mountain Home. And then there was
the 2 of you?
Yeah. And then there was a period where I was working at a place called College Hunks. It was like a moving company. And we went on this move to Denver. And I was with some guy that was, you know, just like, he was like a coke addict and all sorts of, not a good guy. And he's like, yeah,
Seems like you just always ended up around. Like,
yeah. And he's like, you want to smoke? And I was like, oh, absolutely. And then that was a chain reaction. It was kind of like the thing I told you before, where it was just like, it just spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
And I started like going behind her back and lying to her and being like, no, I'm not smoking. Like, cause she knew it was an issue for me, so she didn't want me to do it. Like, she knew it was not good for me. So like, she was like, I don't want you to do it. And I was like, oh, okay. And obviously you can't, there's only a certain amount of things you can do for somebody else, especially like not as a Christian. Like, you don't have control. Like, you're in a carnal nature. Like, you can't control yourself. So
yeah.
but yeah, so I lied to her, and she got mad. We almost broke up, and we didn't. Should have, but we didn't. And we ended up moving to the city, Boise, which is like the capital of Idaho.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting married. And
That just happened, just out of
well,
the sky. Or...
we kind of thought that we were like soulmates, and like we need to get like. I know things haven't worked out great before, but like if we get married, it'll fix it. Type of,
Yeah.
I think we both knew it was a stupid idea, but we did it anyway. So we were married for not that long, like a year and a half. So I got married in 2021, January. And I think we got divorced in 2022, August. Yeah.
Dang.
Not long at all.
Yeah.
But so in that time, we were married. Things were, I mean, honestly, like I worked at FedEx. I was a driver.
That's a pretty good job.
I was healthy, a lot healthier than I am now. Active, I had lost a bunch of weight before I started working at Chick-fil-A, but Chick-fil-A added it all back on, man.
Chick-fil-A.
It's so bad. But anyway.
Gotta cut that rod out.
I know. So anyway, life was going, honestly, like pretty good. Like I wasn't smoking. We drank. I mean, both of us did, like on the weekends, we'd go to parties, but like nothing crazy. Like it was like I was responsible, and then there was a night, it was in October of 2021. I had just turned 21, I think. I just turned 21. And I was going to this concert. Have you ever heard of Suicide Boys? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I know their songs.
No, it's all demonic rot, dude. It's
really?
Just...
Is it like modern rock or what?
No, it's like underground rap. It's like...
SoundCloud rapper crap.
It's kind of like that. I mean, but literally, like, in their lyrics, like, they pretend, like, they claim to be, like, Satanists, and, like, their lyrics are very dark. I mean, literally, their name's called Suicide Boys. But
I know I've heard of them.
Anyway, so I was I went there and I was like, I decided like I'm gonna pregame really hard for this, and I don't think I'd eaten anything, or I just ate something. Like, I got home, like scarfed some like pasta down real quick, and then like started drinking and like crazy. I mean, I was like a lot, and then we went to my friend's house and I drank there, and then on the way to the concert I drank there. On the way there, and it was like heavy stuff too, like heavy stuff. Vodka. It was whiskey vodka. On the way there, it was freaking Everclear. You know what that is?
That's just straight alcohol.
It's like 100% alcohol. It's basically Germex.
Oh.
So anyway, I blacked out. I don't remember getting to the concert. I didn't even get in the doors. Like I literally like was so.
And you didn't end up in the hospital.
I did.
I was gonna say you had to.
Yeah. So. I don't remember any of this, so this is all from what people told me, but we got there, and like I was really drunk, and I don't know, just saying stupid stuff, and then I ended up like falling down and like hitting my head, and they called an ambulance. I think the cops came at first, and they were like, is he okay? Like, is he on drugs? And she's like, no, like he's just drunk. And they're like, okay, well, see you later. And then the ambulance came, they drove me there. They put me in the ICU. Like, I really remember waking up and I was like on a breathing tube.
Oh, dang.
And like catheter. Like, I was like, not handcuffed, but like I was like, I had like hand ropes to the bed or something, basically. And
why the heck they have that?
I think I was fighting. I think I was like being really aggressive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they did that. And they ended up putting me like, I think they called it, they basically like put me in like a medical coma so I could like, they wouldn't have to worry about me.
And your body could
put me
just
to
kind
sleep.
of get rid of it on its own.
Yeah, so that happened, and my ex-wife, she was pissed. Like, that basically caused a divorce, really, honestly. Like,
yeah,
there's probably a lot of other things, but that was one of them. And, fast forward, we thought we were going to work it out and whatever, and then it was July. I know it was July 3rd because it was July 4th. We went to my friend's house and did a little party, and then the next day she's like, "Hey, I want to leave you," and I was like, "Oh, okay, great." So, and like I loved her, like I really, like I didn't treat her like I did, but like I was like, I loved her, and that sent me into a spiral, like a horrible spiral, like the worst of the worst. Like it's kind of funny because like in some ways, like she was keeping me back from, she was holding me back from what type of self destruction I could really do. Like she was kind of like, so that happens.
Even though she wasn't even that good of an influence herself.
No, she wasn't, crazy. But I mean, yeah. So that happened. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be fine. And it's probably only like not even that many weeks later. Like that's what. Right after we got divorced, she said she wants to split up. I went and bought that car because that was one of the things. She wouldn't let me get a new car, and I was mad about that. So
didn't you already have a car you just got not that long ago?
No, I'm talking about this car. Like
no, but I'm talking about like before that.
No, I had a old car, like a 2004 Hyundai Elantra.
Oh.
And so, I was like, I'm going to get a brand new car. And it was during COVID. So freaking used car prices were ridiculous. Like I spent,
that's like when it all went.
I spent almost 30 grand on that car just because I got the warranty and the whatever else. So it was really expensive. But in my mind, I was like, well, it's an investment. And I was just, whatever.
When is a car ever an investment?
Yeah, it's not. But I mean, again, I wasn't listening to anybody's advice. I wasn't.
Dave Ramsey, spanky.
I think this thing is probably going to rub.
Nah, you're good, bro. I'm more worried about the wind, low key.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
So, anyway, bought the car. I wasn't really. That's another thing. Like, I was not close to my parents because, like, they were Christian. So, like, I kind of just blew them off. Like, I moved out, and that was like a big thing. Like, they kind of, our relationship was a little damaged after that. And between me and my stepmom, like, she's always been there for me, but it was still like a damaged relationship. Like, you can't have a great relationship if it's just hard.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't really talking to them that much. I was just listening to myself. I was like, I'm just gonna do everything I want to do, literally everything. So got the car. I moved in with some roommates, and they're pretty cool people. But I started smoking again and like getting into the heavy, not like heavy drugs, but like the
psychedelics.
No, not psychedelics. Like they're called like dabs, like the heavy THC stuff. Like I was just like indulging, and I quit my job at FedEx because it sounds horrible. I was like, well, they're gonna drug test me, so I might as well quit because I'm not gonna pass. So I got this job at like some shoe store. I was like,
it was a good job too, bro.
It was a good job, dude. It paid like $22 an hour, man. It's pretty good. But I quit that. I went to work at some shoe store. I paid like $17 an hour, but I could have made it was like $17 an hour guaranteed plus commission. So like in theory, I could have made a lot, but I hated it, and I was not giving any effort to it. Because again, I had literally just lied to the person that hired me and basically said I want a new opportunity when really I just wanted to I just wanted to have some sort of income and just do whatever I wanted to do, And yeah, I ended up getting with this girl, some stupid rebound relationship, and it was just sex and just literally we just did drugs together and stuff. Like it was just a horrible relationship. Like, and so anyway, there's not that much to talk about during that period. It was just I was literally just spending money on credit cards, just doing whatever I wanted, just buying ridiculous amounts of weed. Like, I mean, I didn't even have the money for it. Like, I literally just spent money on my credit card, like thinking, oh.
Did you get out of that debt?
No, not yet. I'm still paying on it.
Oh, man.
I put myself in like a $20,000 hole.
Dude.
And you know how long it took to do that? 2 months. Like,
yeah, and how long does it take to get out?
Years. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting close to paying it off, but so anyway, really not a lot to talk about there. I mean, I had bad friends. I lived with them. I ended up moving into a trailer or a camper. And
on your own?
I was with that girl.
Oh.
She moved in and she was crazy too. I mean, she's like bipolar and all sorts of, it was a mess. And so it was a pretty dark period. Yeah, have drugs. That's pretty much the only thing I did. Like, it got to a point where like I didn't even know what sober was anymore. I was just in a constant state of being high all the time. Like, I guess at work, not as much because like I couldn't really do it at work. But yeah, pretty much got to a point where I just did that. I ended up going back to FedEx for a little while, but this weird thing had happened. Like, I was I was doing everything, and then all of a sudden, like it was, I mean, I had to have been God. Like, there's no other really explanation for this, but like I heard something say, "You need to break up with this girl. Like, you need to break up with her." And I was like, "Okay." Like, honestly, I'm not with her
Like
for
you
the right.
heard it like
Not like audibly, but like in my soul.
You just
Like,
felt
I just like felt it. I was like, "Oh shoot." And I started thinking about it, and I was like, "Man, like I'm literally with this girl for literally just doing drugs and having sex. Like, I don't want to marry her. Like, I don't want anything out of this." So, I realized that I was like, "Man, should probably do the right thing, break up with her." Well, she was, she's a lot of mental issues, so that just destroyed her, and she ended up like saying she's gonna kill herself. So I was like, "Well, I better call somebody." So I called, and they took her into a hospital, and all this crazy stuff happened. And but like as soon as I did that, I had felt this just pit of despair come over me. Like it's really hard to explain, but like I had just realized like I messed up really bad. Like everything kind of caught up to me. Like,
you just kind of realize all that you've been doing.
yeah, like it caught up to me, and I was like, I need to go home. Like, I cannot live here anymore. Like, I can't live in Idaho. I don't have family here. Like, I have a group of bad friends. Like, I need to get out of here. So I went home to Virginia, and
To just your mom or
mom and stepdad, and they just bought a house. So it was, I had a place, I had a room. I shared a room with my little brother. It was fine. But the worst thing was like, I really truly don't know how to explain it. I mean, I don't know how I feel about like demonic possession or anything like that. I don't know how if I really feel about it, but it was like
I think it's a real thing, but I think God is over that.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you give your life to Christ and
yeah.
free yourself from all that stuff.
So I got there, and I mean, it was the worst type of depression I'd ever felt. It wasn't even just depression. It was like it's crazy. Like it's what I imagine hell feels like. Like I had got to the point where I realized how broken I was as a person. Like, of course, back then I didn't think of it as sin, but like how sinful I am, like how just utterly disgusting like I am. Like it just all hit me, and like I also thought like, well, I thought I had committed like a blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. So like I was just basically existing on earth, knowing like, well,
you're gonna go to hell.
No, I'm going to go to hell. So I didn't want to like kill myself because I didn't want to go to hell. But living was also like hell. So I mean, it was just crazy, like horrible place to be. Like, I felt literally like the only time I could escape it was when I slept. So I would just sleep all the time. And, yeah. And like, I just gave up. Like, I stopped paying my bills. I just gave up. I was just like, well, my parents, I guess, are just going to probably, I guess they'll just let me stay here forever. Probably not. Well, my mom probably would. I love my mom, but she probably would just give in. My real mom. She'd probably just let me bum off her forever. So, sorry, Mom, if you see this, but you know what I'm saying. But anyway,
she loves you.
Yeah, she does. I mean, it's out of love. I mean, she would have pushed me to like do stuff, but at the end of the day, what I'm really trying to say is she wouldn't have put me on the street. That's what I'm really trying to say. Like, I don't mean it in a negative way. But anyway, so that was about January, February, and March. Those 3 months are pretty much just months where I just gave up, and like my stepdad was like, get a job, trying to push me to get a job, and like
you still weren't talking to your dad and your stepmom?
No. So at this point in time, I cut everybody off because like I just didn't know how to talk to people. Like I literally felt like so isolated and so like I don't want to talk to them because I have nothing to say. Like I don't even know how to explain how I'm feeling. Like I'd gotten to a point where like I just accepted the fact that like I'm here right now. When I die, I'm going to hell. Like
Yeah, that's dark.
It was dark,
That's
dude.
horrible.
It was really, really, really bad. Like I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Like it's just imagine like no ambition, no purpose, no nothing. Like you're just literally existing. And at that point, I wasn't even doing drugs. Like I would vape. I vaped, but like I wasn't doing drugs because we literally like it got to a point where I did it one time and I like had this horrible experience where I felt like it felt like I had like died, but I was still conscious, and it felt like I like
An hallucination, or it made you sick?
dude, I don't know how to explain it. It felt like I don't know, it just felt like I died. It felt like hell. Like it felt like an intensified hell. Like I couldn't like I would never be able to talk to anybody again. I would never be able to see my mom or anybody again. Like it just was horrible. So I was like, dude, I'm not doing this crap anymore.
I think that was God trying to show you something, maybe.
I mean, yeah, probably.
Who knows?
I would still drink sometimes, but I never got like wasted or anything. It was just like my mom and stepdad would drink wine and I would like drink sometimes, like whatever. Anyway, so I ended up there was just one night, it was in March 2023, and like I had already convinced myself, like, dude, God will not save me. Like I'm worthless to him. Like I knew I was like an enemy of God. Like I knew his wrath was on me at that point. Like I knew it full and well. And I didn't think there was anything to do to get out of that. So anyway, this one night, 2023, I just like prayed, and I had prayed before, like asking God to help me, but this time it was like Jesus, like I need you. I can't do this. Like this is just ridiculous. Like I can't keep existing in the state I'm in. Like I can't die. Like, and again, I was suicidal. Like I would plan every night to like some way to like die. Like I would literally just stay up all night some nights, like trying to find like an easy way to die. Like I'm not kidding. Like it was pretty dark.
Yeah.
And so that night happened. I called out to him, and something changed. Like I went to go get a job in the next couple of days. That's why I applied at Chick-fil-A. And
Like at this Chick-fil-A?
no, in Virginia.
Oh, at the mall.
The mall. And so something was like, I don't know if I was saved yet or not. Like probably, but like I don't really know. Like I could feel God start working in my life at that point. And I was still really discouraged. Like, I mean, the physical effects of all that crap. Like, I mean, I tend to think like, dude, like I literally probably put myself in some sort of like drug-induced like psychosis or something. Like, because I had also been on Adderall, and I mean, it was just bad. Like,
Yeah.
the amount of crap I was putting in my body into my brain, like, physically weighed me down. So I applied at the mall.
It's gotta be fried.
My brain was fried. It was just bad. So anyway, I went to the mall. That's where I met my operator, Tony. And it was funny because I go into the interview and he's like, "Hey, you're here for a shift lead position?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." And I'd only applied for team member. And so I went into the interview and he's like, "All right, well, I'm gonna hire you." He's like, "I don't think you're ready to do a lead position, but I want to like pour into you and like help you become a lead." I was like, "Okay." So I started working there. First couple days sucked and it was hard, and I was like, "Dude, I don't know if I can do this." Like I was still at the point, like spiritually I was a little better, but like physically, like I couldn't. It was weird. Like I wouldn't talk to anybody. Like it felt like I was a brand new. It felt like I had to learn how to do things again. Like I felt like I had to learn how to like have conversations and like learn how to work again. Like learn how to just interact with people again, Mm-hmm. And so I knew at that point, like I was like, man, this depression's bad. Like I need to go get some like medical help. Like so I ended up going to a mental hospital for like 4 or 5 days, and they put me on Prozac. And really, it wasn't the hospital didn't do anything special, but I think it helped me get away from everything for a couple days,
Yeah.
And my operator was like, I called him the day I got out, and I was like, hey, because I had texted him before and said like, hey, I'm gonna do this, and he said okay. Got out, called him, explained everything, and he's like, all right, well, we can still have you work, like let's do it. So I went back and started working, and I started going to church. And I mean, at that point, like when I started going to church, like it was like it was like a fire in my soul. Like I knew I was saved. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like it was like waking up from
Felt
that.
it was possible again. Or?
Yeah, like I felt like it was possible. And I remember distinctly it was probably on Easter. I remember like for the first time, like the sun was coming through the shades, and like I heard the birds chirping, and I was like, oh my gosh, like there's really something. Like it was crazy, man. It was like oh my gosh, like there's so many things, like this is real, like I'm living again, like there's real life, like I can hear the birds, like I can see the sun, like I can feel things again, like. And I
brought you out of that grave.
Yeah, I mean I went to church. And
were you going with your parents or just yourself?
Well, so my little brother went to school at the church, like he was at like preschool at a church, and started going to that church, which is great because it was a good church. It's a Baptist church in Virginia. Man, like I remember just my soul changing, and like I don't know how to explain it. It was just, I mean, it's just salvation. Like he saved me even though I didn't deserve it, you know. Mm-hmm. And my faith was just growing, and I started, going to like Wednesday nights, and I was just immersing myself in church and small groups and just learning all of these things. And slowly but surely, like God just started working on me. And my operator helped a lot too. I mean, he was more like we weren't really spiritual. Like he didn't really disciple me per se, but like he was like teaching me like really valuable lessons. And like he was just a great guy, like
mentor.
He was just a mentor. And he taught me a lot of things. And then eventually he offered me to come out here because he was getting a store here. Mm-hmm. And so at that point, like I wouldn't say my faith was like super strong, like I'm like rock solid, but like it had gotten built up fairly quickly. Like I had learned really quickly like how to rely on God. And like my faith was like, I think when you like first get saved and you feel like you're on that mountaintop, like I felt like I was on that mountaintop, you know?
Yeah.
And then I came out here, and then he didn't end up working out. So it's crazy. I was like, oh shoot, like I'm out here, and like the guy that brought me out here just like isn't gonna work here anymore. And
yeah,
I was like, oh my goodness.
Did you say there was like a specific date? Like what was the specific day you got set, or do you think it was just kind of like a process?
Just a process, man.
Just of showing up and then just kind of changing.
Well, and honestly, like I don't even know the date, but I'm sure. I mean, it's probably that night that I like called out to him, like called out to Jesus, and really meant it this time. Like there have been times where I was like, "Oh God, please save me! Like I don't want to feel this way anymore." But like this night, like I remember,
wasn't.
No, like at that point, like I didn't even know it. My heart was just a rock, and at those times, like it was just a rock. And I mean, I couldn't even feel anything anymore. But that night that I called out, like I remember just like what happened is like I don't know, like I just started laughing like hysterically, just like when some crazy person starts laughing. Like I just remember just laughing, and then it turned into crying.
And after you prayed that prayer?
No, before. That's what led up to it.
Oh, really?
And then I prayed. I didn't know. All I said was like, Jesus, like please help me. Like I cannot do this anymore. And yeah, that started it, man. Like I don't know. It was a process, of course, like, but I didn't have to do any, like, I had to show up, like you said, but like, I wasn't doing any of the work.
It's all God.
I remember it was a really hard process at first. Not hard, like the faith part was really hard. Like, it was like, I remember praying a lot and like begging God to like take thoughts away and like help me.
Well, like doubts you had, or like
just doubts and like just stupid like things, like I don't even know, just like it was basically just doubts and like just some of the other things I used to think about myself, like my self-image and just the bad stuff that was rotting my brain. Like I remember like really praying, and like I'm not saying like me praying was like you don't have to beg God for salvation. I mean, but I think part of me like begging and like continuing to go back to Him was like proving my faith, not like to Him, but like maybe to myself almost, like because that's all. I mean, again, like I know that's all it takes. Bible says like you call on His name, confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, and you believe in your heart that He was raised from the dead, you'll be saved. So like I believe that, like that was it. Like I don't know, but yeah, that's pretty much the testimony for the most part. Like after that, it's just sanctification.
Yeah.
Still trying to get better every day, but
that's all of us, bro. That's beautiful. I know I've heard bits and pieces of that story before, but I never really knew like the whole entire thing.
It's crazy, dude. Like,
how'd you meet your wife whenever you got here?
Here, I went to. I mean, honestly, dude. Like, even after being saved, like, I was still struggling with lust and stuff, and I was going to church here in Jacksonville, and
did the drug stuff just kind of disappear? Or?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't drank or done drugs since March 2023, probably. So, yeah.
I feel like there's like this thing. I don't know. It's kind of like how it happened with me, but like, I feel like that sin that like initially puts you into that hole that like you need God to pull you out of. I feel like whenever like He does and you find Him, like that's the thing. Like He just like, because for me that was lust, and then like I haven't really struggled with it since. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think I also realized like how much damage it had done in my life to where I was like, this is just
not going back to that.
This has no value. Like, like there's no value to doing these things. Even when things have gotten hard since I've been saved, like my instinct hasn't been like to do that. Like, maybe a few times, but like it was just a small like temptation. It wasn't like huge, like, oh my gosh, like I'm about to do this. It was just like one of those like, oh, I could do this, and I'm like, not stupid,
Yeah.
But so anyway, I met her at University of Little Rock. It's in Euler, yeah. There's a thing called the BCM. It's the Baptist Collegiate Ministry, and it's kind of like the church at the church of the college, but it's not associated with the college because they're not a Christian school. It's just this little building where kids can come and like do a worship on Tuesday nights and have a worship service. And so my pastor, I mean, of course, after I was saved, like I still kind of struggled with being single because like I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed all the growth I had up to a certain point where I was like, man, like I want to find somebody now. Like, so I had stopped going to the church here, and then randomly my pastor texted me and was like, hey, we should get lunch. And I was like, okay. And we got lunch and we were just talking about whatever, just random things. And I probably mentioned that I'm like really want to find a girl. And he's like, well, you should come to this thing. He's like, you should come to this thing. We're going to go serve the BCM food on next couple Tuesdays from now. And I was like, okay. So I went, and he's like, I bet you're going to find your wife there. And I was like, oh, really? And then I get there, and the pastor of the place was like, hey, what's up? He's like, I was like, oh, not much. He's like, bet you can find your wife here. And I was like, what? Like, unprovoked.
Without even like
I didn't say any. I mean, we probably talked about something, but like, I don't remember what we talked about. And then I saw her with a friend, and I was like, oh, she's cute. And then I went and talked to her and just took off from there, honestly.
That's insane, bro.
I mean, it was God's plan. Like,
you can't say that.
I don't have anything to do with it. Like, I wasn't crazy. Like, there is like, I never did dating websites or anything like that. Like, it's so stupid.
I think that stuff is horrible.
I never did dating websites or anything like that. There was like one girl I was like kind of interested in for like a split second, and then I realized she was like, oh, I'm a Christian, but then she's like smoking weed all the time and all this, and I was like, nope, I'm good. Mm-hmm. It was literally like I think it was one night. Like I was like, I met her and then found out. I was like, see you later. So I mean, I hadn't like dated anybody or anything. It was just like, I guess God was like, well, I'm ready for you to have a wife. I was like, okay,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, since then since I met her, I mean, I I mean, I still struggle with lust, but like I haven't watched porn or anything like that since like probably like over a year, a little over a year. So
That's great.
yeah, like I still struggle with lust, and I mean even part of that, like we weren't perfect. Like
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, lust was still a big thing, but since something I've learned since getting married is um lust still exists, but it's like I don't know, like it's not it's still hard to it's just self-control. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like sex inside of marriage is special and different versus outside. Outside of marriage it's like an adventure and a thrill and like you're like, "Oh my gosh, like I know this is wrong."
Even
But
in marriage, it can, like what you were going to
yeah,
say, I
but
feel
like
like it can turn into lust.
well, yeah. Not
Depending on
really.
how you do it. Like, there's verses that talk about, like, keeping the bed, like, holy or whatever and stuff like that. Like,
Well, there's verses that has talked about the bed is defiled or it's oh dude, I can't remember it. But
well, it's
that's
just about not doing wild stuff, is
yeah.
basically what it's saying.
But it basically says like it's I don't know. It says something about how it's like it's undefiled or something like that. I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but
Yeah, I don't know.
point is like it's other things. It's not sex inside of marriage. It's like the other things, you know, scrolling your phone or seeing some girl not on the street. I don't mean like on the street, but like just seeing someone you're like, oh, she's hot, and then having to like fight that and be like, nah, nah, nah,
You
nah,
just
no.
gotta teach yourself, like, dude, me, especially at the gym, like, I just don't even look at them, bro. Like, I just, like, look the opposite direction, bro, and you just spot it. Hair just flew. But, like, you just gotta be, like, disciplined enough to yourself.
Yeah,
If you know it's gonna be something that's gonna tempt you to walk the other direction before it even, like, grows into anything.
it's true. I mean, that's what I've learned. You just have to like, as soon as you give into it, like, I mean, Jesus literally says like, not Jesus, but
Paul says,
yeah, flee from lust. Like, don't even like, as soon as you give it, as soon as you're like, oh, okay, I'm looking at this, and then you're like, oh, I kind of like this. Like, you've already lost. You've already lost the battle. Like,
I realized that too. Like, whenever I struggled with lust, like, if I thought, like, if I just barely tiptoed into it, like, it was over. I was getting into it. There was no escaping it. Like, edging's not real, bro.
yeah, but
I'm just saying.
anyway, like, again, like, it's just like I'm still a sinner, and obviously, like, we're not ever gonna be perfect, but I've just learned, like, I know it's unpopular between some people. Some people are like, oh, you can lose your salvation. Obviously, like, you know, you go to Baptist church, like, we don't really believe that. Mm-mm. But my point is like, I've still struggled with things after being saved and like lust, all of it. Like, but ultimately, like, I took action, like, got married. Like, I wouldn't say that was all the only reason, but like, that was part of it. You know, I was like, well, I know I want to be with her, and we're struggling with lust, so we might as well get married. Like,
yeah, I feel like by getting married, you're giving it to God, man.
Yeah, I mean, and it absolutely has. Like, I'm able to. And I saw something the other day that says like, if you're having sex outside of marriage, you're not leading her, like she's leading you, basically. Like, you know how like biblical marriage, like the structure is supposed to be like husband leads the family, leads the wife, like, but outside of marriage, it's like you're hooked on her now. Like, she's leading your actions and
it's true.
She's leading, like, you're not thinking straight, basically. Like, she's leading your desires and whatever. Mm-hmm. And you're not leading her. Like, no matter what, how you want to look at it, like, you're not, even if you go to church together still and you like try to stay away from temptation, and you just can't be like, if you're giving into that, like, it's just, again, it's not a salvation issue, but it's like a hey, like, God, I'm not going to do what you want me to do. And again, God's kind of like, all right, well, I still love you, but you're going to still feel the consequences of this. Like, I'm not going to shelter you from the consequences. Like,
yeah,
I'll always still be here for you. Like, I'm not abandoning you. Like, there's a verse, I'll never forsake or abandon you. Like, he means that. Like, imagine if you could sin so much that you could just lose it all of a sudden. Like, it wouldn't be unconditional love. It wouldn't be, it just doesn't make sense. And there's so many verses that talk, Jesus literally says, like, all that the Father gives to me, like, I will never lose. I'll never lose them. You know, So it's like we're his. Like he owns us. Like when we give our life to Christ, like we surrender our own selves to him. And so I don't know why I brought that up, but it's just
No, it's true.
it's just
Very
like
true.
I felt horrible. Like, dude, the first time that we had sex, I felt awful. Like it like hurt. Like my heart was like mourning.
Conviction.
The conviction was so bad, and like I remember going into work and just being quiet all day and just like I was just defeated. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is horrible. Like, this is bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I took it to God, and it was a process, you know. But eventually he led me to be like, hey, like, this is who I want. I want this to be your wife, but you guys gotta knock it off.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. And then I talked to Chuck, and I talked about it, and
Chuck was like, get married.
yeah, literally, he'd been telling me that forever. And finally, one day, something clicked in me, and like, I was just like, man, I just need to do this. But I was afraid of like what her parents were gonna say. I was afraid of what my parents were gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is like, and even Chuck told me this. He's like, oh, if you lived your whole life based on what people say, you probably wouldn't go very far.
It's so true.
So one day I finally I met with him, and he convinced me. He's like, you need to just do this. And he's like, you can tell.
Chuck there?
Not at the wedding. I don't think so.
He should have been there.
I
It's
know.
like the
He should've
orchestrator.
He
He
should
should have
been
married y'all or something.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know, but yeah, we did it. Obviously, her parents were not happy about it. My parents were like, they weren't unhappy, but they were kind of like, we wish you guys would just like fight the temptation. You know what I mean? Like, we know that she's for you, but you guys need to learn how to like have discipline and
yeah.
But you know, the best way to learn that is just get married. You know, Jesus doesn't.
I don't know. I feel like that's a tough topic because like I feel like by doing that, like you're giving it to God, but like I feel like maybe if you're just gonna like have discipline or like trying, I feel like that's fighting it on your own. You know what I mean?
It is. I mean, it is, and that's kind of how Chuck even looked at it. It's like, oh, you're gonna be obeying God if you get married. Like,
it's true.
You don't have to. You're gonna fail. He basically was like, you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. So what's the point? Like, you're going to give in again. And I mean, he wasn't saying that to like discourage me, but he was like, I mean, what's the point? Like, you can try and you can give it to God, but like like sexual desires are like a very strong thing. And God did that intentionally, but like it's something like, especially if you've already struggled with that, like me, like my whole life, like it's just not gonna be something that I can just in the next 2 months just win.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was kind of just one of those things where I was like, I mean, and she wanted to get married, I wanted to get married. I knew it was from God. Like I knew it. And even though again we struggled with lust and stuff, like I remember just praying about it because when I first met her, I was so uncertain. Like not because of her, but just because like I was like, God, do you want me to do this? Like, you sure about
You're
this?
scared from the past and stuff, probably.
Yeah, and I was just like, you sure, God? You sure? And then one night, like I just been so nervous about it, and I just been hyping the scenarios up in my head, and eventually one night I was like, God, I just need a yes or no answer. And I didn't want to pray that prayer because like I knew like he might say
ask
no
for a sign
I knew
the answer.
I knew that he might convict me and be like, nope, this isn't it. So I was like putting it off. One night I finally was like, all right, God, I just need to know. This is driving me crazy. And like again, I've never heard an audible voice from God, but like I prayed and like I could feel the Spirit like give me peace on it, like overwhelmingly. Like it was just like my heart was just like flooded with like peace, and I was like, okay, all right, I got this. Peace on like yes, you should do it, not like peace on no. So I was like, all right, this is what He wants me to pursue. So I did it, and it worked out. Now we have a baby on the way. So
it's great, man. Congrats.
It's all good. Like God works in mysterious ways, you know.
He does.
And people aren't always gonna like what you do and whatever, but you just can't be concerned about people.
People are people. They're never gonna be happy.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I don't know what battery my phone's at, but I appreciate you, bro. That's a beautiful story, and I'm glad I got to hear it. And glad you got to come on here. I know we'll probably do this again.
Yeah.
If I didn't creep you out too much with it, but
no, not at all, dude. I'm glad we got to do this. I've never actually told my testimony before, so I've told that's not true. I've told it to like small group, and I've never drawn it out as much as I did today.
Mhm.
Like I never really given as much detail, I think, is what I'm saying. So
Yeah. Well, thanks
Yeah.
for being vulnerable, bro.
Yeah, man,
It's
of course.
definitely tough.
Yeah.
You want to pray this out? Let's pray it
Sure.
out. I was gonna pray before, but I forgot. So
All right, no
let's do
problem,
it
man.
now. Do you want to lead it or me?
I'll do it.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Dear God, thank you for today and just letting us do this today and just talk to each other, and hopefully that this hopefully me sharing the testimony that it will help other people, and I'm so thankful for life that you give us, and even through the hardest times, like we always have a lot to be thankful for, and we just got to focus on the good things and not focus on the bad things, and just remember that you're refining us through all the trials, and you're helping us grow, and it's a good thing always, God. So just thank you for everything. Thanks for this nice weather. I know it might not be so nice tomorrow, but that's all right. It's all good. So thank you, God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, bro. Of course, yeah.
Oh, that was bad.
It's fine.